All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us again. This is Ebonie again, aka Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style. And today we have Miss Natalie joining us. And Natalie, I want you to start off by telling us a little bit about your favorite motivational quote and what actually sparks your interest into pursuing a healthier lifestyle.
Well, my favorite motivational quote is I can and I will. And sometimes I have to remember that because I'm human. Everybody has their way of thinking, like they're loose their track of thinking and what have you. And then I'll see those 5 words and I'm like, okay, I can and I will. So that motivates me. My motivation for healthiness is mainly age. I'm a girl from Mississippi. I live in Florida now, but and as you know, Mississippi is like one of the fattest states in the country and all that. But most of it is due to the poverty lines and a lot of access to processed foods. So I'm my age. I'm 41, but also but basically I'm looking to have a more not necessarily fit body, but necessarily more of a healthy body. So I can live a longer life.
Yes, and that's key. And for those of you that stick around to the end, you are going to have a special little surprise because that is definitely an obstacle sometimes for people when they live in an environment that promotes processed, unhealthy junk food, and especially in lower income areas. And you decide that you want to live a healthier lifestyle, but it's just so much more plentiful in the junk food. So it's like, gosh, well, this soul food looks really good compared to this salad.
Right.
So it makes it a little bit more difficult to make that adjustment. And one of the things that I appreciate that you said was that the fact that you can and you will. Because if you have your mindset on that you can achieve despite those obstacles, those are primarily the people that you see that will get far. Tell me about some of the changes that you've made recently.
Recently, changes I've made is cutting back on processed foods, which is a tough thing because I don't have children, but I am a very busy person. So it was so easy to go and stop here and stop there to get something to eat. Whereas now I'm trying to prepare stuff at home and, have it already ready in the morning so I don't have to go out. Even if it's a sausage biscuit, even though I know that's not healthy per se, but it's healthier if you prepare it yourself than if you go to McDonald's or if you go somewhere else to get it. You don't know what they're putting in those particular meals. So I'm trying to be more conscious of my processed food intake.
Yes, and going out to eat sometimes, you'd be surprised how much sodium and how much sugar is in some of these things. And, part of the reason why we like to go out to eat is because it tastes good, right? But
Right.
one of the reasons why it tastes good is because they know exactly how to appeal to our taste buds to keep you coming back for more. I always tell ladies that I coach, I'm like, there is extensive research into how to make food taste a certain way to our taste buds to keep you coming back for more. Because at the end of the day, the company's bottom line is to keep you coming back for more.
Hmm.
They want food that tastes wonderful to your taste buds. And a lot of times we don't realize that some of these foods are actually foods that make us even hungrier. So we're always looking for that next fix. So we're thinking that, that cake, well, it has a lot of calories, so it should fill me up. And so you eat the cake, and then to your surprise, about 30 to 40 minutes later, you're feeling like, oh man, why am I so hungry? I just ate this huge piece of cake with some ice cream. So now you're craving that next sugar rush. And this is a repetitive pattern for a lot of people throughout the day where they don't realize that those exact foods that they're looking at as being high in calories, so it should fill them up, is actually what's making them hungrier and causing the weight gain.
Right, right. Yeah, that's what I've heard, like the empty calories, like you'll have a big old milkshake and it's like worthless. It was good.
Right.
And you'll gain, you don't do muscle gain, you gain fat.
Right, right,
You know?
right, exactly. And one of the things that ladies will say to me is like, well, Ebony, I just can't give up my desserts. And the thing about it that a lot of people don't realize, and that's what I was referring to a few seconds ago when I was talking about the gift at the end, for those of you that stay to the end. One of the things that people don't realize is that some of these foods that they enjoy, you can still eat these foods, but eat them with different ingredients. You can
Mm,
still eat your chocolate cake. You can still have your favorite mousse cupcakes, for example, or your favorite vanilla ice cream. But there are certain ways that you could prepare some of these foods so that the body processes those ingredients differently. And I think a lot
right.
of people don't realize that. They're so used to the types of foods that they grew up on that they don't realize that they can make foods the same exact taste, but with better ingredients. So
Mm,
at least you're getting your taste buds, the way that you want them to be sparked up, but your body is saying, oh, thank you for some better quality ingredients. you know so
right.
I'm going to present you guys a clean eating resource guide free of charge if
Oh,
you're interested in. Natalie is part of my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group. All the ladies in that group actually get a complimentary copy. So if anyone's interested in that, please reach out and I'll make sure that you get a copy as well. One of the things that I've noticed that's kind of interesting is that ladies will say, well, I like to eat healthy, but I don't like to exercise, or I like to exercise, but I don't like to eat healthy. So, in your world, Natalie, what is easier for you? Is it easier for you to eat healthy or exercise?
it's easier for me to do both if I put my mind to it, but definitely it's easier to eat healthier if I. But I mean, just like with anything else, we all know, like we were discussing earlier about eating an apple versus a donut.
Mm-hmm.
We know better. We know what's supposed to be better for us, but sometimes we gravitate towards that donut, unfortunately. But it's actually like at my job, they always have healthy snacks sitting out. They have the healthy and they have the bad. So it's up to you to make the right choice. And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of times it's like my conscience, I have my conscience, how you have people on your shoulder like, no, eat that donut. No, eat that apple. So I'm trying to, I'm like, no, I'm going to eat the apple. So, because you try to stick with what you're supposed to do. And I think a good thing too is have somebody to help you with your accountability. I'm one of those type of people that has to have somebody fussing at them all the time, basically. And so, amongst us busy ladies, we have to have motivation from each other to do right.
Yes, and I tell people this all the time. We are strong in certain areas of our life and not so strong in other areas of our life. And having an accountability partner in those areas that we're not so strong is key. There are certain areas in my life that I need an accountability partner for. And I know that if I don't meet with this particular coach every single week, that there are certain things that I'm just not going to get done. I'll always say, I'll do it this weekend. And then this weekend come around and you want to go out and have fun with your friends and your family. And you forget all about what you said you were going to do this weekend, Wednesday. So it's one of those things that you just have to be aware of yourself. You have to understand what are your challenges and what are your obstacles and what are your strengths. And in the areas that you can improve, seek out somebody that's a little bit further ahead that can hold you accountable. And in this day and age with social media, as I said, Natalie is a part of my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group. And one of the things that you'll notice is that the ladies in that group, they're all of similar mind. So that means they're not going to say to you, why are you posting a salad every single day? We are trying to be healthier. So whereas your family might say to you, why are you eating salad all the time? Girl, you look good. Just go ahead and get that piece of cake. Or you don't need to work out. You look good. You're not going to hear people in a nutrition group saying to you, why are you posting healthy meals all the time? Because sometimes you do get that kind of resistance from people, and I hear it often where ladies will say, well, I'm trying to do good, but my family and friends, they're not meaning to sabotage what I'm trying to do, but they are, because I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying to bring more foods into the house, and they're looking at me like, well, can we get some real food in this house? You hear that, and so when you're in a community of ladies that are all trying to do the same thing, it's more encouraging and more motivating for you in those times where your family is telling you, go ahead, eat that fried chicken and that mashed potato with extra gravy and those collard greens with extra bacon in it. Because you're gonna hear that. But one of the things
Yeah.
that you said that is important is that your nutrition is easier for you than fitness. One of the things I tell people is this: when you can incorporate at least some physical activity into your schedule, you're going to feel better mentally and emotionally, as well as it helping you physically. I know for me, sometimes when I go outside and I just take a quick brisk walk, or if I go to my boot camp class, or if I just go and do a 10-minute exercise video, I feel so much better and so much more invigorated when I go back to my work. I have a lot more clarity and focus than if I just sat there and said, let me just go over here and get this donut to eat. And then I'll go back to my work. I'm not able to concentrate as much when I take that approach. What do you think are some of the things that women can do, and you might struggle in this area, so it might be a difficult question, but what do you think are some of the things that women can do to get more excited about fitness?
Well, what I've been thinking about lately is trying to think, because I'm a person that doesn't like to exercise either. I'm trying to think of exercises that are fun, like the Zumba classes, where you're not even thinking that you're exercising per se. And even the fitness pole classes. Might be a little risque, but it's exercising.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's using a lot of core and upper body strength. So I try to think of those type of things. And also, I normally wear like a Fitbit. And so it lets you know, okay, you need to get up. So, that a little annoying vibrate on your arm is like, okay, let me get up and walk around. So at least it's little things like that helps. Because some people that just don't even get up at all, or they just stay where they are, or they just sit. And so my job is very sedentary too, so I have to remember to get up and walk around sometimes. So
Yes, that's most of the people that you see walking around. They're sitting down most of the day. They are not in physically demanding jobs.
right.
So that sometimes sucks a lot of your energy. I used to work for corporate America too, and I
Mhm.
was just sitting down on my butt all day. And then after work, I was not thinking about going to anybody's gym because I was already emotionally, mentally depleted. I just wanted to sit and watch a reality TV show. So it wasn't about let me find the nearest gym to go to after you're sitting all day.
Right.
You don't have a lot of energy. It's so funny how that works too because you're not really exerting yourself physically, but it's emotionally and emotionally, mentally and emotionally tasking sometimes.
Yes.
So I completely understand where ladies come from when they say, I don't even like to work out. And then the 1% of energy that I do have, no, I'm not really interested in working out tonight. you know, so that's key where you have to look for things that are fun. I actually took a pole fitness class and
Oh.
loved it. Oh my gosh, I loved it. And it's so funny how now I look at these pole dancers totally different because you don't realize the muscles you work to do this and the strength it
Right.
requires and the skill and technique. This is not just spinning around a pole.
Right. Yeah, it's just not dancing. They're actually using muscles to do that.
Yeah. And I think that there's so many activities out there that we can do that's fun, like belly dancing and Zumba, there's tennis and racquetball, badminton. There's so many things out there that we used to do sometimes even as children,
Mm-hmm.
but we forget that these activities even exist because we think of I gotta exercise and go to the local gym to do
Right.
it and use weight machines that are intimidating and sweaty and it's just not an enjoyable experience and you think that you're doing the exercise correctly and you're not doing it correctly, but just getting up and moving, taking a Zumba class for example, is something that for a lot of people has been able to increase their energy levels and get them physically fit. And it's fun. Not something that you're thinking about doing. You
Yep.
mentioned something that is key, and that is the fact that we do have sedentary jobs. So tell me a little bit about your thoughts when it comes to your career or your job and being consistent with exercise. And I made mention of my experience earlier, but in your own perception, tell me a little bit about what you think. is the parallel between your career fulfillment and your purpose and being consistent with exercise and nutrition.
Well, that's the thing, you know, how you were speaking about how people are great at one thing and not great at the other. I'm great with my career. I excelled in my career. I'm, you know, in management. I made sure I got to do what I, you know, making the top dollar, which if you want to say that, or, but it's when it comes to food and when it comes to exercise, I'm very, very weak. And a lot of it too is like you said, it is when you know, people look at you and like, oh, you sit at your job all day. Because I work in a laboratory, I look at a microscope all the time, and they're like, all you do is look at a microscope. But also, I'm looking to make sure a patient that I have doesn't have cancer. So a lot of times it's just you try. It's a mental thing, mental, and that can drain your you know, drain you, and it feels like you've been running all day and you've been sitting all day.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times you get home, you just want to crash, you just want to just do nothing. And you know, that's the problem I have. It's just motivation of just getting up just to go for a walk. You know, you hear people say that, oh, just get up and go for a walk around the block. And in my head, I'm like, that's not enough. That's, you know, I need to go do some jumping jacks or run a marathon or something in order to lose weight. So, but it's true, when I actually get my butt up and walk, you do feel better afterwards. So you just have to remember those things and just try not to allow, you know, your mental state to get you in a state of where you're going to be unhealthy yourself. Think about those. Like, I have to think about the patients that I'm working, you know, looking for cancer cells for. You know, what would they think about me? I go home and do nothing. You know, they, you know, I'm supposed to be doing the same thing, trying to prevent cancer from coming to me. So, you know, basically, I have to remember those things, and that's what I struggle with.
Yeah, and it's interesting how you work in the health and medical community, and that is so common. You know, I come across doctors and nurses and other people that work in the medical arena, and a lot of times they are actually doing worse than the patient that they're caring for. So it's interesting how you get so caught up in your career world that you kind of put your needs to the side, and then you then later on become the same patient that you're trying to save.
Exactly.
So yeah, if you just think in terms of no amount of exercise is always going to put you in a state of, now I can step on stage and do a bodybuilding competition. If you're not careful with your nutrition and your fitness on a consistent basis. But sometimes just taking that brief walk, as you said, when you do it, you notice that you do feel better. And that's really what it's about. Sometimes we get caught up in the aesthetics and the beauty of what fitness can look like on our body, but you don't want to walk into work one day and you've been eating junk food all morning long. You know, you had your coffee with extra creamer, and you barely ate anything the night before, so your body's already starving for nutrition. And then you didn't get enough sleep that night, and then you make a mistake at work. So as much as you love that job, now you've just made a mistake on your job, and you risk the possibility of getting fired from that job. So it all plays together. It really does. And for a lot of people, what they do realize is that their ability to be more creative and just have more focus on the things that they really need focus on, especially during those stressful periods on the job. Because I'm sure as much as you love your job, there's certain parts of your job that can be a little bit more stressful depending on the circumstance. So during those times, you look at it differently too when your mind is clearer from taking that short walk, even though it feels like, that's not enough. What's that going to do? But you feel it after you've done it. And imagine this, if you were to just take a 1 mile walk 4 days a week, that's 4 miles for the week. And by the end of the month, that's 16 miles of walking that you wouldn't have ordinarily gotten just by thinking, oh, I ain't going to do nothing. That's not enough. So you got to think of it that way. And then by the end of the year, look at how many miles that was, you know? So
Right.
that's the approach that I tell ladies to take. Just take it a little bit at a time. You don't have to be Miss Bodybuilder to be living a healthy lifestyle. Natalie, do you have anything else that you would like to share with us? Anything that you feel like could be encouraging to women, no matter where they are in their stage of the game?
Well, basically, it's just we need to encourage each other and stay on each other about things. Sometimes they say it's the blind leading the blind, but if you're both in the same, have the same mindset that you want to take care of yourself and take care of your body, we can do it. So you just have to stay motivated, and just like we're a part of Ebonie's group on Facebook, join the groups. If you don't have people around you, join a group on Facebook. And that motivates you as well. So I just think that we just need to stick to doing that and just remember that we need to be healthy. Our husbands, our children, everybody, we're taking care of everybody else. As women, that's what we do. But we need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves as well.
Yes, thank you. And that is so much what I stand for, taking care of ourselves so that we have the energy to take care of others. And as Natalie said, joining Facebook groups where you're in there with a group of like minded, positive women is definitely encouraging, especially during those times when you feel like you're all alone, that you're the only one eating pizza and burgers and fries every day. Believe me, there are some experts in my group that still indulge on pizza, burgers, and fries. So, how much more you?
Right.
You guys have an awesome rest of the day wherever you are in the world. And if you would like to also share your experiences, please reach out to me by sending me an email to Ebonie, Ebonie, at simplicityhealthstyle.com. And also remember to subscribe for future shows. You guys have an awesome rest of the day.